Hello, welcome to Colorado. I have two very special guests that have come to visit me. I have two flat Stanleys. Miss Ella and Miss Sadie both sent me their flat Stanleys. I'm their Aunt Mariah. Welcome, welcome. We're going to go on a tour of Durango, Colorado, where I've lived for 21 years. After I moved away from Indiana, I came here with my husband right after we got married, and we've lived in this house for about 20 years. And this is Edward. Edward! Edward! Can you say hi? This is our St. Bernard that we rescued from the Humane Society about 10 years ago. He was about a year old, so he's getting pretty old. He has a shirt on today because he had a little bit of a surgery on his elbow this week that we have to keep covered up. But anyway, this is my home. I'm going to turn you around here, where we've lived for quite a while. And in the back of our lot is where my studio is, and I'll take you for a tour of my studio here in a little bit. I've been an artist working and living here for, again, 20 years. So it's been an interesting road. My husband is a builder. He builds homes, so he's been quite busy. This is a growing area where we live. Everybody wants to move to Colorado, so there's no shortage of work for him. Up here where we live is about 7,000 feet above sea level. We live on a mesa. It's called Florida Mesa, and a mesa is basically a flat-topped mountain. So you'll hear me use that phrase a couple of times. There's a few mesas in the area that we're going to explore a little bit when we go and see the mountains. What else? This area where we live used to be farm country, so there's a lot of water. All of our water comes from the Florida River. It gets redirected through like a ditch system, and it comes to us in ditches, and we get lots of water. So that's why we're able to have grass, because we're in the desert Southwest, so it's very, very dry here. If you don't have water access, you're not going to have a lot of plants and trees, but we're lucky enough to have a lot of water. And so this tree right here is an apricot tree, and I can hear all of the bees working right now on the blossoms, trying to pollinate the blossoms to create some apricot fruits for us. We'll see what happens. It was really cold this week, so I think maybe they froze and we're not going to get apricots this year, but sometimes we get a lot. We also have an apple tree, lots of fruit trees up here if you have water. We have a weeping willow tree, which is pretty unusual in this area as well because we have all the water. So we're pretty lucky where we live. Okay, let's go take a look at my studio. Okay, here we are in my studio with the two flat Stanleys. This is my easel where I work. This is what I was working on last week, one of a couple of paintings that I completed. I'm just doing a series of flowers right now in oil paint. This is my little setup, my brushes. That's where I keep all of my oil paints and different tools. I've been painting for a long time. I'm definitely focused on what's called realism painting, so I just try to paint what already exists in real life. These are some of my acrobat paintings. I paired up with a local acrobat troupe called the Durango Circus, and we did a photo shoot, and that's where I got the reference images to paint these pictures. So I go and do a photo shoot, get the reference pictures, and then with my computer, I pull up the reference photo on this screen, and then the painting goes right there. So I can paint what I see on the screen. I can zoom in or zoom out, however much detail I need to see at the time. And then these are created. Give you a close up here. See how detailed. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice. This is what I love to do. I basically just call myself a painter, because I paint anything and everything. As long as I'm painting, I'm pretty happy. There's a couple more that I just did last week. This one's a new one that I did for a local show coming up, a local group show. And there's another flower. Quick scan of my messy studio here. There's some of the flowers that I've been painting. It's a pretty small space, but works pretty well for me. There's my little desk set up, and then my bookcase with all my book references. And I have some art inspiration up here from some of my teachers that I've worked with. This is their work, and then his work next to my work as inspiration as I'm painting. And that's it. That's my studio. This is where I spend a lot of my time. Now let's go explore Durango. I'm up above Durango now with the flat Stanleys. We are up on Fort Lewis Mesa, which is where Fort Lewis College is located, looking down on downtown Durango. You can see the Strater Hotel from up here. And that is Smelter Mountain and Perrin's Peak. It's a gorgeous day today. It's actually been super windy this last week, so it's nice to get a break from the wind and just enjoy our blue skies. Here in Durango, we have about 300 days of sunshine a year. So this is what it normally looks like for us. Now we're going to take a drive down to downtown Durango, and I'll give you a closer look of what our main avenue strip looks like. Durango's elevation is about 6,500 feet. So in comparison, I think you're at about 1,000. So we're quite a bit higher up here, which also means that we have less oxygen. So when people come to visit here from Indiana, they tend to find themselves very out of breath until they get a little bit used to it. Your body does acclimate after being here for a while. And now we're on Main Avenue that we just saw from up above. We have a really great tight-knit community here. It's also a very large tourist attraction, so we get lots and lots of tourists every year. Right now we're kind of in between busy seasons. We have a really busy ski season during the winter, and then during the summer we get all of the summer vacation visitors from all over the world. All the businesses downtown are just starting to get ready for the big tourist season this summer. Cleaning everything up, getting all of these these are called bump outs. They started those during 2020 when they needed more outdoor seating and decided that they were fun and everybody liked them, so they just kept them. So now we have a bunch of outdoor seating on the street during the summer. Looks like there's quite a bit of people out and about today. To see all of our historic architecture. And you see quite a lot of this in Warsaw too. And during the summer months, there are just people everywhere down here. Quite a thriving small downtown. There are also usually a lot of festivals. Almost every weekend there's some sort of festival. So now we're coming up on the historic Strater Hotel. This was the first hotel built in Durango. It's restored. And people stay there to this day. Next, we're going to come up on the train station. See if we can find a place to park. Looks like we can park right out front. So here's the train station. We will be taking the train with the flat Stanleys, so that's exciting. Here we are at the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, downtown Durango, Colorado. We will be taking the train with the Stanleys up to Cascade Canyon. So you'll be able to see what it's like on the train and the views from the train. This train has been here since the late 1800s. It used to be used to get people and things to and from Silverton, Colorado, which is about 50 miles north of us, which is a former mining town. They don't do a whole lot of mining up there anymore. It still does exist, but the train is just now used for passengers. During the summer months, it goes all the way up to Silverton and then back. Really cool thing to have in our little city. And another reason why it's really big tourist place to come. Well, I decided to come back up on Fort Lewis Mesa with the Stanleys so I could show you a little bit more of the mountains. We're in a kind of a different spot than we were before. These are the La Plata Mountains here behind Durango. It's our more local mountains. I've done a lot of hiking up on those peaks. And then as we go north, that's Animas Mountain. And then beyond Animas Mountain, all the way in the background, those are the San Juan Mountains. And those are the really big mountains. I've done a lot of hiking and jeeping and camping up there. And this valley is called the Animas Valley. It's where the river runs through, down through town, which we will see from the train. The train also follows this valley all the way up to Cascade Canyon and comes back down. So we'll see all that from the train. But we're up at a spot called the Lion's Den. There's a little old pavilion up here. It's called the Lion's Den because we do have mountain lions here. I've seen a couple of mountain lions. I've also seen lynx, which is a relative of the cat family. We have bobcats, we have black bears, we have wolves and coyotes, bald eagles, osprey, just to name a few of the wildlife, elk, deer. Our climate is very, very dry here. We're in the southwest of the United States and in the southwest corner of Colorado. So that means we're kind of on the border between desert and mountain. So we get all 4 seasons. As you can see, the snow on the peaks of the mountains up there. We get a lot of snow, but in the summer it gets fairly warm, 90s to 100, and very, very dry. And that's it. That's our Durango. Thanks for visiting. Okay.